Alright, what I want to do is go over the shroud. Actually, this piece right here. This is the piece that screws into your barrel from your shroud, and I'll show you real quick right here. This is the piece that screws onto your barrel right here from your shroud. Now this piece right in here, this little groove you see right here, is supposed to have an O-ring. If you take your shroud off, chances are excellent, and I mean excellent, with the factory O-ring that's in it, that it's going to shred it. When mine, all I did is take my tube and turn it up. When I pulled everything out and it was left in there, and I turned it up that just to dump it out, and as it flew past these threads on the end right here, it just completely shredded this O-ring. And this O-ring is not, I mean, it wasn't much pressure. It was just, this thing is really light. I mean, it's aluminum, super light. And as I turned up and it just slid out, this thing came out in pieces. It just completely shredded it. And this is common. This is a common thing that'll happen if you take your shroud off. Very likely this is going to happen. And this is where it goes. But what I'm going to do is a temporary fix. And the reason I'm going to do this is because, well, I used to do this back in the military. I was in the Navy. I was an engineer. I worked in the engine room, and our generators, main engine, everything, the seals that we put together and ran, and this is for high temperature, high pressure, super high pressure. You don't want them things blowing. I mean, the generators would be like a hand grenade, the size of one of those storage containers. Is about how big they are, exploding if they go off. So it's going to blow up, about a third of the ship, or whatever. Well, I don't know about all that, but it's going to cause a whole lot of damage. Anyway, while I was in the Navy, we always tore our machines apart and put them back together. And the O-rings, the machines are too big for the O-rings. So what you have to do is get cord, pull that cord out, that rubber O-ring, and glue it back together. Now this is not military grade. This is Gorilla Glue, clear Gorilla Glue, super glue, and that's what I'm going to use. And the reason I'm going to use this is because, one, this is not an internal O-ring. All this does, it goes around this piece right here and holds it against the shroud. It keeps your shroud from moving, but more than anything, it keeps the noise, the vibrations that run through your barrel, harmonics. You've heard it in many things, but it's harmonics that'll run through your barrel. And what that O-ring does is keep those harmonics down, and also it'll keep your barrel from moving. It's screwed on so tight that I think it would stop the barrel from moving anyway, but at the same time you're going to get a real loud ping without that O-ring on there. So this is what we're going to do, is I'm going to show you. You can do this on an external O-ring like this. I wouldn't really consider the O-rings inside of your gun in a temporary fix. I don't know, say you were out bushcrafting or something. People do that, and you had no O-rings and you blew one out. If you had some super glue or whatever, I would definitely glue it and put it back together. So this is what you take this off, and I took mine off actually to clean it. I use cotton patches made out of a t-shirt, and what I'd done is, this is a string, a nylon string that I use, and I tie it. I know a boar snake is better, but I tie loops on it so I can just roll them up, stick them in the loop, tie them down, and then when I pull on them, it stays tight. And then if I get it out of the barrel, it's real easy to loosen them up and stick new patches in there and go for it again. But I'd taken the entire shroud off of this. I was using a different piece of string. Couldn't find my string. My nylon string So I threw a piece of cotton string on there, and I've got these patches caught inside of this barrel right here. I'm not even going to go. I've got, you know, these skewers that I use if I get anything caught in the barrel. That's what I use to get them out. It didn't work. I broke like 3 of them. And then I ended up having to use my gun cleaning kit, my clearing rod from a gun cleaning kit to get it out. You don't really want to do that, put metal or anything in there. But they were jammed so bad, the string, when I pulled out, it broke off down inside here. And there was a tail hanging off, so I grabbed it and went to pull, and it broke off up in here. So all the patches were stuck inside the gun. And yeah, what'll happen, and I did hammer on it, don't ever do that unless you really know what you're doing. This didn't move any. But what it is barrels are made and they've got set screws to go in here. Pretty much every barrel on an air gun have set screws, and those 2 set screws, if you keep moving this, hammering, pounding on something, all this stuff was in there, and move this, it's going to move it back here. It's going to, well, you could mess your seal up, but right here what happens is there's little holes, little indentations. Those set screws go down in to hold the barrel in place. You keep beating on it. This is soft metal. It could drag and just make grooves inside here, and then your barrel is pretty much screwed. So I suggest if you get in a situation like that, get it out, get in a vise to where you're not gonna bend it or mar it up. You know, mar it up ain't no big deal really. I mean, mine's got a few little scratches, and that's just from the little band that slides back and forth on it. Okay, quick tip number 1. Yes, this will definitely work. Problem is, a lot of times these O-rings, they get shredded up too much. There's no putting them back together with glue. It's hard to do it. They get, if I can, well, yeah, you can see they get twisted and so forth. And what happens is when you go to unscrew that, these things are really dry, super tight against that shroud. So you have metal, and then you have the aluminum piece inside, which is metal, both of them compressed on this real tight. And when you turn it, it just sticks, and it's just ripping it, and it rips it loose in pieces. That's the only way, you know, when you go to turn this up, that everything just falls out. Oh, I'm making a daggone mess. Everything just falls out. It's not gonna come flying out of there so fast that it's gonna hit those threads and rip it off. That would stop the rubber would stop when it hit those threads because of how hard it is to put it in there. What happens is when you take the bolt loose, boom, it tears it apart. Good thing is, if you get a little bit bigger O-ring, or use this other hack that I'm getting ready to show you, you can take this barrel on and off by twisting it. It's got a flat spot that runs along the bottom, and my phone has always got a ring. But it's got a flat spot, and I can now unscrew this with my hands and take it on and off without worrying about it. This piece here will come out. So anyway, my other magic hack, a lot of y'all gonna think I'm crazy. I'm telling you, it works. You get in a pinch and you have to have this. Actually, this is on my gun right now because I wanted to try this. This is something that I had questioned before. Right there. That's it. That's all you need. Take a rubber band, and now I don't have the piece, but you take and you wrap it. Just double it up. You know what I'm talking about. I'm using one hand here, so. But you know, put it in, twist it, bring it over again, twist it. Fill in that gap. Now I will tell you, it's not easy. More than likely, what's going to happen is you're going to go through here, and these threads. I put a little silicone oil on mine, but as it works its way down through there, something's going to get cut. If it cuts it, pieces of it are going to come loose, and you're going to need to get something and grab them and break them off. I did do that, but it was a difficult process, to be honest with you. But once it gets all the way down in there and it's real nice and tight, my theory was, it's rubber. It's going to compress the metal on the outside and inside of it, no matter if it's not perfectly uniform all the way around, which would your best bet. That's why you want an O-ring. But in a pinch, the metal is going to press it on the inside. It's going to squish it, and what that'll do is, one, help. You can still shoot your barrel, but harmonically, it's going to keep your accuracy in there, and keep your flash pup from being a flash ping, because that's what it's going to do. That metal on metal, as it shoots, and it's going to ring, ding. And if this is a hunting rifle, so you don't want to do that. You want that noise to be down. And in a pinch, if you're in a, say you were out in the field or whatever, and you had a rubber band in the truck, and boom, you were good. You could put that on there and fix that situation. Anyway, what happened? Boom. Okay, I cleaned it right here. You always got to run some shots through it to get it broke back in. There's 3 in one hole, and these 2 went right there. Maybe these were the first 2 shots, and then boom, 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 3 in the first hole. So I decided I was off on my scope about 3.5 MOA, which is, if this was the crosshair here, I had 1 line and 2 line. Okay, if there's a half line between these 2, halfway between there was the other next line, was where I was at. So I took my aim point and moved it over here, and it started shooting pretty good. I was working on sighting it in here, offhand. Yeah, like to shoot offhand. I was so happy I got a bullseye. That was a 9th shot out of a magazine. I done 1, 2, 3. I can't find all of them. 4 maybe, 5. Yeah, one. It's one of these 2. 5, 6. There's one right there. 7, 8. A couple of them I can't find, but right here. Oh yeah, there's 3 right there. It was my first few shots. I took 2 and then hit over here or something, then another one over here. But yeah, I was real happy with that. That not completely lined up, and again, I wasn't even using a sandbag, just up on my shoulder and on the bipod on a plastic table. Just getting everything lined up. It's doing great. So there's a hack for you. You get in a bad spot and you absolutely have to have that piece. I have a kit coming in, and the truth is, I don't care. I'll leave it the way it is until I have to take it apart again. Then I'm going to have to take that rubber band off, and I'll go ahead and put a new O-ring. But as long as it's shooting good, I'm fine with that. This right here, that's my few 34.7 grain slugs. Now that I've cleaned the barrel, I want to see if maybe I just needed to clean my barrel. It's possible. Hots and guns, they like a clean barrel. So we're going to find out about that later on. Alright, I'm out of here.